comment about it.
There's an entire video that we did where I ranted for like 7 minutes about that. Go watch that. We're not going to talk about it anymore. We win. Woo!
Yes.
we win. Not without stress and just absolute turmoil at times. But Chiefs won. We won 19-17 on a last-second field goal by one of those signings you talked about, Matthew Wright, which makes him the third kicker to win a game on a field goal with time expiring this season for the Chiefs.
And what's that little saying, or people have, like they're saying right now? Doink the division, or doink in the division, or whatever.
Doink for the division.
Yeah.
Doink for the division. That might be that. I might put that on the thumbnail.
Yeah, you need something. Like
Doink. It'll be that picture and just say doink.
Oh man,
that's such a fun word.
Yeah.
So, what's your initial reaction for the game, man?
Actually, I was watching the game with Josiah.
Y'all need to invite me over, bro.
You go to bed at 8 o'clock, bro. Like, I didn't think you'd want to be out.
He didn't even think you were watching the game.
I didn't
though
know,
you have to prepare for a Chiefs podcast.
I didn't know if you were going to be up to the fourth quarter, like, because you've been going to bed at like 8 o'clock.
I'll give you guys that. But there were 2 earlier games in prior weeks that you guys didn't invite me to.
This is true. But we didn't get together for that. Actually, one of those we got together.
You were together last week.
No, we were there together on Thursday.
Or Thursday.
Thursday night. That wasn't the Chiefs game.
Oh, you're right.
And then we got together for the Raiders one over Discord.
You and I
a couple
did,
weeks
yes.
ago. A few weeks ago. Anyway.
Okay,
yeah, thanks
right.
for the invite for Discord.
It's not as
No,
bad.
actually, I did.
We did invite you to Discord. What do you mean?
That's true, you did. But anyway. Yeah, my reaction.
Yo, this is why we need Dionte here, man. It's just hilarious.
No, I'm second string, but it's so funny because I had said, I was like, you know what? If we lose this game, I'm not even going to be mad because we did it to ourselves. Although I would have been mad.
Right.
Yeah,
because
of course.
the way that when that kick took place,
dude,
I about jumped out of my chair and lost it. Like,
you did jump out of your chair and walked to the front door.
I did.
Took a look outside and then came back.
I just wanted to see if anybody was out there because I was about to run out and lose my mind. So,
why is Dionte taking off his clothes?
Oh my gosh!
Streaking down the street. Yo, I smacked my desk so hard. I smacked it and then I went to get up and then smacked my knee on the bottom of the desk. I'm pretty sure I have bruised knee. And,
he is questionable for next week's podcast.
I was questionable for today. We're going to get an MRI this week and make sure everything's good. And then we'll see how the rest of the season turns out. Maybe I'll go on IR to prepare for the postseason.
They may have to bring back a former player.
Perfect. Former player. What is happening?
I don't know.
So your initial reaction, like for the doink, was
yeah, and I think just because like realizing it was about to potentially happen of us losing, I was like, yeah, I am mad.
Well, and the anticipation was building ever since like we got Kelsey got us the first down.
Yeah.
Because we were like, what are we going to do? And then the seconds ticked by and we're like, okay, this is about to happen.
So I was told by Josiah, we haven't really talked about the game yet. We try to save our conversations of the game for the podcast, so it's like natural, kind of raw or whatever. And when you're not here, that's when we converse about it. But so I think running the clock down to 1 second to kick a field goal with no time left was the right decision. I was told that you would have preferred us to at least try for a touchdown.
Yeah, my thought was, even if we just ran the ball, right, that, we can at least either, one, get farther, closer, get closer if we was going to do a field goal,
right, or
potentially score with the thought that, even if they're allowing you to get in the end zone, you don't have to get in there. Kind of like last night, to be honest, Jamar Chase gets that pass and starts taking off, and consciously he probably at some point should have went down closer because they left a minute and a second left on the clock for Dallas to have a chance.
And they had 3 timeouts.
Yeah, with 3 timeouts. So I just, it was like if we would at least run the ball, you got 2 running backs that can get us closer, and sure, maybe we do the first run on that first down, and they get us to he stops and at the first or 1 or 2 yard line. Well, when he gets there, I mean, we can kneel the ball another time, and then let's take a shot. Take a shot, a run in the end zone.
Yeah.
And with a little bit of time left is what my thought was, just to kind of sure up that part because, I mean, like we saw, kicking sometimes is hard, We've seen some block stuff, and which we did, So it was just the thought of that, and I get it. You're like, man, well, no risk for fumbles and everything, and this is what we're paying the guy to do. I get it. I just would have liked to see that, so then it would have applied more pressure, but I guess look at what you said.
Yeah.
It kept the game in the control of our hands, and it was our decision, kind of like the Broncos.
Yep.
What they did.
Yep.
And we just happened to block the field goal.
Well, and my thought immediately goes to the week before where we played the Raiders, where if they would have just kneeled the ball twice, they had a first down, you kneel the ball twice, that's bad snap, you're within field goal range. Like easy field goal range for Daniel Carlson, right? So there's that portion where if they would have just like ran the clock down and then kicked the field goal, they probably would have won that game. So I think with that also being in the head, like you want to make sure something like that where a bad snap doesn't happen. You risk the chance of somebody could put, obviously there's the potential to fumble on the kick or whatever, to miss the kick, like which he almost did. As soon as it was off the foot, I thought he missed the kick. I legit thought.
Yeah, by the way, the holder's hands went up and then he was putting it down.
Well, and like you saw,
it was looking like a disaster.
The ball was spinning end over end, almost sideways. You know what I mean? It was at like a 45-degree angle kicking instead of it being right up and down, which it kind of has to be when you're kicking from the right hash to the goalpost because you gotta, But Matthew Wright also has had a tendency to purposely try to hit the uprights in practice, because if you can hit the uprights in practice, there's a chance that you're going to be way more accurate in the game, right? So,
Andy Reid in the locker room said, all right, Matthew Wright, just next time, take the ball a little more to the right.
Yeah. Right. And when Andy Reid gave him how about those Chiefs? Yeah. Matthew Wright was like, Chiefs, and he's like, all right, don't get too excited.
Yeah. He's probably still in shock, like he almost messed that up for us.
He was like, he was just smiling. It's like Chiefs. It was hilarious. So, man, that's kind of my initial reaction to. I wrote some stuff down, but realistically, like. Outside of it, it's not really like that's probably more of my initial reaction to with the David Wright thing. Yeah. We can't go into like Patrick Mahomes being. Wait, did I say David
Matthew?
Wright?
Yeah.
No, you said
that.
Jameis.
You know that. You know that. We just.
You said
I keep trying to say David Wright. David Wright was a baseball player.
Yeah, I think so.
Next time you're gonna say Nick Wright.
Who?
Next time you're going to say Nick Wright.
No, I'm going to say Dudley Do Right.
I like it.
But Patrick Mahomes was pressured on 12 of his first 19 dropbacks.
Yeah.
Right? So in that first half, I was angry.
Yeah.
Right? I was so angry, which I think really affected the way he threw the ball in the first half. And then, we got the touchdown right before the half ended. Then we came out and really, DJ Humphrey settled in, and there were only 5 more pressures given in the next 28 dropbacks. So, which is good.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes kind of trusted the line to block a little bit more. You could see Humphreys get a little more leverage on the ends. There were a couple that just really good moves. I mean, the Chargers have a fantastic.
I mean, those 2 outside rushers are. They're future Hall of Famers when you think about their stats when they hang it up.
Yeah.
With Khalil Mack and Bosa, they're 2 outstanding ends that are. Well, they're no chumps. At all.
Neither of them are leading their team in sacks.
Yeah. So that's saying something with the
their linebackers are great. Their linebackers jump out to end sometimes, So it's really
Derwin James pressures,
man.
which he brought. I think the one that he had that sack. I think it was where we missed they missed the dual block there, and he came free on the outside. But yeah, they their front is doing is causing some trouble.
Yeah, causing havoc, man. And they're doing a great job. The Chargers next year are going to be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, they have surprised me because we was talking
I think I picked
before
them
the
to finish
season.
the bottom of the league or something.
Yeah, we was talking about they were pretty done for, and Harbaugh has brought a culture in himself that these players like.
He was limping on the sideline too throughout the game.
Yeah.
Did you hear why? I don't know why, but Harbaugh was limping on the sideline. But anyways, so going out of like Mahomes getting all those pressures on him, he did wind up going 24 of 37 with 210 yards and a touchdown. Again, not turning the ball over.
Yes. No interception.
No interceptions, which leads me into kind of my key plays.
What you got
for the week? Patrick Mahomes is officially a game manager.
Mm-hmm.
He's officially a game manager, and I say that because we're used to Patrick Mahomes' 2-minute drill, right? Going down the field, scoring quick when we need to, right? We don't give the ball back when that happens. 2 minutes we can do it, or we score really quick and they get the ball back, but our defense holds, right? But with our defense not really being able to hold in the fourth quarter lately, we got the ball back in the fourth quarter with 4.5 minutes left, essentially. I think it was like 4:35, and really the goal was to drive the ball down the field and leave no time on the clock, which we did.
Yeah.
So we found out that Patrick Mahomes was able to not just run a hurry-up offense, but he was able to kind of methodically move the ball and take time off the clock.
Yep.
Right? So, and we trusted our running backs on that last drive, which we should have been doing more throughout the game.
Yes.
In my stinking opinion, I digress.
Yeah, we was talking a little bit about that, where I was just like, man, we have these two dual backs who, before Pacheco got back, I mean, nearly Kareem Hunt was averaging almost 20 carries a game.
Right, with like 60-plus yards a game.
Right. So it was like, why are we not? I mean, it wasn't like we were so down to where we needed to throw the ball, but it was we should have been getting the ball to those guys and removing some of the pressure. And this is like we'll get to it later.
Well, the Chargers were giving up the most rushing yards to teams this season going into the game, like 146 rushing yards a game. And we ran the ball. Can you see how many times we ran the ball? But we had
25 carries, which 4 of those was from Mahomes.
Right.
So basically 21 carries from the running back standpoint.
It's not enough, man. No.
Kareem Hunt had that, and what? Most of the games that he's played since he came back.
And that's in addition to
himself.
like Carson Steele and Samaje Perine getting carries.
Right.
Right. So it's one of those things where just because it's not like Pacheco was only getting like 2 yards a carry. He was getting almost 4 yards a carry. And then Kareem Hunt, the more you run the ball against a team like that, the harder it is later in the game for them they're going to be more tired, right?
Yeah, and you keep those ends honest, the defense ends honest, to where they cannot just go straight up the field and drive, but it keeps them a little bit back. And then when you get into the fourth quarter, late within the last 5 minutes of the game, and when you have the ball and trying to work some of that time, they're not now loading the box because they know, they're about to run the ball now, and which on a couple occasions they did, and, stopped us for not much gain. And so, again, it just keeps the defense on their toes of what's going to happen, when we can't lose sight of, what's really been helping open up a lot of things and finish out some games, which has been the rushing game.
Yeah. Yep, that's been difficult for us, is actually rushing the ball. I mean, last week, or against the Raiders, we only rushed the ball 4 times in the second half. Until the last drive, I believe we'd only done it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, because Pacheco had 7 and Kareem Hunt had 7 carries in that game.
Yep.
14 together. So, I don't know.
So it's it's just it was just frustrating until that moment.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that we went to understanding, hey, we need to run the ball so we can run time off this clock, and we trusted our guys to get first downs when we needed to.
Yep.
Right? And especially like Patrick Mahomes' little dupe on Derwin James.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
running. He's just like tuck in the arm. How many times has he done that?
Oh,
Like he's going out and just like barely steps, and everybody's like, "Oh, how did the defender not hit him?" Man, I tell you what, Patrick Mahomes is one of the shiftiest guys.
Yeah.
The fact that he was running and just tucked in that elbow. That's all it was. And if Derwin James would have hit him, Patrick Mahomes would have been like 20 yards back.
Yeah, it would have been hit pretty hard.
He flew past Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, those are kind of my key plays. I don't. Do you have any other key plays that you could think of?
Yeah, I love the Travis Kelce, the catch that he made on one knee. That was a key play for me because he wasn't supposed to run that route.
No.
That wasn't even his original route.
He's back, baby.
Yeah, and so as he just, felt where the defense was, he just found the spot. And, of course, and when Mahomes kind of is on his scramble game, like not that when we want to see because of pressure,
right?
But when he does move outside the pocket, the receivers just know to run with him.
Yep, find an open spot.
And Travis Kelce did, which was like that turning point to solidifying, that part right there. And I think, and that was huge.
Yeah.
Even to the fact he's like, listen, I want nothing else to happen. I'm catching the ball,
and I'm
even if they hit me, I'm just.
He didn't try to get up. He didn't try to move.
Giving myself up.
He understood the moment.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're in like give me field goal range right now.
Yep.
I'm not going to fumble the ball. I'm just going to hold on to it. Who's going to hit me? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
So that was great.
Yeah. And then I loved seeing, D-Hop getting the touchdown.
Yeah.
They say that he's a guy, he's a veteran guy, and has played, some years in the NFL. But they say he's the guy that hates when he even has to come out of practice for reps for someone else.
Yeah.
That's the type of mentality he has because he just wants to put in the work and get better. It's not that he's like, give me the ball and I'm selfish.
Right.
But he just wants every rep possible that he can get, and also show these guys like be hungry no matter when you're just a few years in, middle of the years, or you've been in the league for a little bit. Be hungry for the opportunity that you have, because when the opportunity presents itself, like we need you to step up, And so I think he's, shifting that mentality, hopefully some of these younger guys and some of those receivers to, continue after it. So I love he's getting involved, and, they found him to get him a touchdown. Could have almost had another one, but he took a big hit and, he, still stayed in the game or whatever, but I just love that involvement. And, man, the dude just got some hands, bro.
Dude, he's got hands.
He got some hands.
There was one that hit his hand earlier in the game that I think he probably could have caught.
Oh, yeah.
But it did wind up being DPI on it, like defense pass interference. So that's kind of a wash.
Yep.
But I still think like that one he probably could have caught.
Yeah.
So going into next week, what kind of things do we need to improve?
So, and this is why I said we'll talk about it in a minute. I think that we, let me think of their minds, but the coaching staff, I think they understand, but we got to keep running the ball.
Yeah.
We got to stay on the ground.
It's been the same thing the last 3 weeks we've said.
We got to stay on the ground. And because what that does, and I think that we need to, man, without Rashee Rice, which I think would have, the way that they work him in the offense, maybe show some difference. And I don't know why we're not utilizing a little more in like Juju or DeAndre, but we gotta run some shorter routes. I think we need more shorter routes.
Yes,
because of the fact with shorter routes and running the ball, we're helping the line.
Yes,
the line itself.
Yes,
I know we're trying to chip in some ways, which I guess has been fine because when you think about it, we don't really throw a lot to our running backs.
Right.
So it's not like they're being removed because a lot of times we're running dual tight ends with a couple, receivers. So there's a lot that can go out of there. So, utilizing more maybe some chip with the running back, and then we got to run some shorter routes and keep rushing the ball so we help our offensive line.
Yes.
And plus, when you have 3 of the best interior linemen run behind those guys, that's also a boost for them. You know, that's something for them as well, as you're trusting them to win their battle so we can move the ball, which we've seen with how much Pacheco and Kareem Hunt averages, you know, through a game. So we got to continue to do that because we got to help out the ends, which no penalties by Juwan Taylor. No penalties. He stayed on the line. I think there was the borderline.
He
the one he
up.
did move.
Yeah.
I think later in the game a little bit that the announcers made a comment about it.
There's an entire video that we did where I ranted for like 7 minutes about that. Go watch that. We're not going to talk about it anymore.
But yeah,
I'm not doing it again, Josiah. Talked about it enough. But
But yeah, I think that again, good for him. No penalties.
Yep.
He played well. So again, I think they, except for the one play where Mahomes calls out the read, and you even hear Trey Smith said you got to move. And then obviously that gets blown up, and that hurt there. But I think with some of those parts that will help our offensive line. And just continue to just move the ball. And what I did also like from this game was, I think it was 2nd and 3 or 4 or something later on in the game. And how we talked earlier, they trust the running backs, and we ran the ball. Rather than doing some pass and then potentially 3rd and 2, whatever. In most cases, we've thrown another pass. They ran the ball, which we got the first down. But again, that's that just keeps a balanced offense, and it keeps those defensive lines just from running up the field. So I think those are those key improvements for me for this next game against the Browns, especially with one of the best outside rushers in Myles Garrett. So I think we got to utilize those 3 guys in the middle
for sure,
and and just improve to help our offensive line.
So for me, I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I've said it the past few weeks as well, but we have to be better in coverage on non-Trent McDuffie side, and we have to score in the red zone.
Yeah.
We're 4 of our last 11 trips to is it 4 of 11? I think it's 4 of 12. I'm sorry. 4 of 12 in our last 12 trips in the red zone, we've scored a touchdown. Because we were 3 for 9 going into this week, and we were 1 for 3 this week. So we have got to score more in the red zone. So
and I will say this about the scoring, and sometimes in the game when we're watching, we get frustrated when the defense give up, like a score in the 4th or something like that. But what you also have to realize is we held these boys to 17 points.
We did,
and as we're holding teams to these level of points, which was right around our average of last year. The mindset is looking at if we're only giving our opponent 17 points.
Yeah.
We have an offense, and we have one of the best quarterback, the best quarterback in the league right now, that we should be able to score more. Than where we're holding them to 17. So I think still, as far as some of the mistakes and different things, we do need to improve for sure. Secondary, we're not getting any sacks. We're not getting any turnovers. The pressures, when you get pressures, that helps the turnovers with some of that. And that's why our margins is not more for points, because we're not getting extra possessions to the offense. But I just think that, beside that, defense is still playing well, holding teams, under these 20 points. And we just, again, like you said, we got to score more in the red zone.
And eliminate penalties.
Yeah,
in
because
the
we're
red zone.
not getting more possessions.
Right.
We have to capitalize on those possessions in the red zone. So,
and I think the biggest thing that's hurt us is penalties.
Yeah,
Offensive
that is
penalties.
true. That is true.
Like Trey Smith headbutting a guy when it's 3rd and 1 inside the 20.
We've just done some dumb stuff.
So.